I'll go straight into my reflections, if I can call them reflections. When I was asked to do this, I'm the second choice. Of course. I was told by Roy that he doesn't know anything about St. Peter's. He doesn't even know where Monkey Hill starts from where it ends. So that's the first question I'm going to throw out. Who knows where Lower Monkey Hill starts? Hello? On the left by the Toters, them. On the left by the Toters, that is usually known as grandstand. Lower Monkey Hill starts from the bath straight across to the last road. Not Mr. Bryan's house. He's not in St. Peter's. John England Village. You know where that starts from? Okay. So, John England starts the road by the Rollins, right up to across Monkey Hill. Behind me, that's John England. I'm living at Paris Village. Paris Village is just from my road there. Well, I call it a road because it used to be a dirt road, so we don't say dirt street. Right, from the road to Miss Chad's. Yes, that's Paris Village. Okay? And do you know that there was a line right down by my road? And at the top of the line, what we call that? Eh? Engine house. And at the engine house, we had a box because the engines couldn't take the hill to come up for the cane. And in front of me there, where they have houses now, that was a siding where they used to pack the cane. And when my brother's house is there, half of you would know that, there was a small one inside there with just about 2 or 3 trucks to be packed inside there. And you know which land you're on right now? Which estate? Where we are here now? Douglas Estate. From the line was straight down. On this side is Douglas. Somebody told me White House earlier when I asked the question. I didn't know White House was an estate. And on the other side is Stapleton Estate. And I don't know why they call it Parry Yard, but the estate yard is called it Parry Yard. And then Roy want me to say, how many rum shops were in St. Peter's? I'm quoting Roy, because it's Roy who asked me to do this. Eh? My mother came late. We want the old. Yes, my mother came back in the 50s. We want before the 50s. Let's start with Lower Monkey Hill. Miss Frederick was late too. Miss Anne. Miss Anne? Mm-hmm. Who? That was late too. He was in Curacao with my mother. Who was the other one? Mr. Williams. You know who they Mr. Williams? Natty Bass. Wife. Yes. We're controller. Family house. That was a rum shop there. And right, girlie Matthew father. And then we had one right where Mr. Bass is. Bass Bakery. That was Mr. De Silva. Agnes Kerry's father. There was no rum shop in Upper Monkey Hill. I'm sorry to say that. And we had Miss Chaz at the top, Paris Village. And you go higher up, you had Tanny Edwards. Eh, yes. Pardon? I was coming to the distilleries. We had John Francis in John England. Yes. Pardon? Miss Rose didn't used to sell rum. Miss Rose used to sell Marby. She was not a licensed rum shop. Miss Rose used to sell Marby. So I don't know if Marby is rum because that's used to drunk. That's used to drunk with the school children. Those from Stapleton who used to take their lunch by Miss Rose's shop. When we were going to St. Peter's School and we had to do tables, by the time we reached the four ones or four, these people from Stapleton got to sleep. Okay? The barman was Stanley Edwards. We're talking history. We're talking about history. I didn't call my mother's name. Okay. The Hobson Rum Shop. And Mr. Isaac Rum Shop. And Bernice Brown in Stapleton. I didn't finish Stapleton. Okay, let's go to the cultural part now. Let's speak about the clowns. We speak about the masquerade. We speak about the actors. But those of you who remember John Dabrio, what John Dabrio used to do in those days. He had the Japanese girls, and he used to have the Japanese concert. There was never a year passed without the Japanese concert, right? And you know, we had the merry little Japanese, and then you have to go out and do a little thing, and you say, I am a cracker jack, and when I something wouldn't be slack, you know, the type of thing there. I'm not going into that. But those who remember, those of you in my age group, because some of you here and you remember. And we talk about drum, but we had a fifer. How many of you remember Bijo? And Bag of Money. Albert was nigger business. You couldn't do anything and let Albert see you or tell Albert. You either laugh it or you cuss him out. Dr. Jew, anybody ever told you that your great-great-grandmother was one of the old midwives? Mademoiselle Saunders? You heard so? Eh? Okay. And when you see Mademoiselle Saunders come in those days, whatever you're doing, you have to run. Because, you know, it's a thump you get in. It's not like no, they say, leave me child alone. Who remember Miss Nooney? Miss Nurse Mother. Mary great-grandmother. She just didn't used to waste time. She'll cuff you down and tell you go home to your mother and tell your mother that I cuff you. But we need to have that coming back in the cultural part. But we can't speak to children now. No, the parents gonna say, I didn't put you to be a watchman for my child. It used to take a village to raise a child. That is no longer the case. So we need to pull up our socks about that. It's not all about the cultural thing, and it's not all about what you can do or what you used to do. We need to bring back our community together. Too much bickering and too much pulling away. So with the cultural part of it, that is one part, and we need to know the culture. About the schooling now, because I told Roy that the St. Peter's School was in the late 70s. So he asked me where we used to go to school. I told him we used to go to the St. Peter's Primary School. So he asked me, I said, yes, the church hall down there, it was a school. And that went you had from 1st to 5th standard. And it was like, no, whether you're bright or you're not bright, you have to stay in the class until, you know, the work to move out. So by the time I reached fifth form, Dr. just still in first form. So thank God for the Labour Party. All that was corrected. And come back to the estates. I heard Elroy was saying we had so many estates. Elroy, did you count Odges? Okay. Stapleton, Milliken, Fountain. Mm-hmm. Bayford was an estate, it was a dairy farm. Eh? Oh, really? A milk one? But when we were going to school, we couldn't say it was an estate. We had to say, when they asked where the dairy farm, we had to say Bayford's dairy farm. But I don't like to call in on the radio because Jake would like to say Miss Hobson. So I don't bother. Sofa Stone, where is Sofa Stone? And how many you have been to Sofa Stone? How many you have been to Sofa Stone? But Sofa Stone is good now. When we used to go to Sofa Stone, we had to pick the path, but now they have a path right around by Milliken. But we used to go through Lower Monkey Hill. And touching Upper Monkey Hill. Where does Upper Monkey start? By the water pipe. No, by the water pipe, that's the energy in England. Like it's from the gut. From the gut. And I was told there was a part they called points. But who gave them the name points? Who? He was an Anguillian. And every time he come to the rum shop and he gets drunk, he say, he got in a points. Right? So when they ask him, y'all remember Margaret Plastic? Remember Margaret Plastic? Everyone remember Margaret Plastic? Well, his Margaret Plastic boyfriend used to say that he got to go to points. So that's where the monkey will get that new name, points. That's over by Jill area. No. He's also Manguilla. No. But that's where the name comes from. It's the man who gave the name points. Margaret Plastic boyfriend. Good. And how many shops are in Upper Monkey Hill? You know many shops are in Upper Monkey Hill? Yeah, Upper Monkey Hill. I call it 1.5. Miss Richards and Ma Joseph. They came in the last. Anything else y'all need to know? And in those days, you didn't have to buy breadfruit. You didn't have to buy green fig. Because you used to go and say, go buy me so-and-so and ask them for a hand of fig. And go buy so-and-so and you get your... And everything was not money, like today. And if you ask someone to do something for you in those days, and if you even try to give them something, you say, oh, my mother gonna tell me don't take it. But today, if you ask them to even pass a glass, they're looking to you for something. Yes? Pardon? I was coming to that. When somebody was sick in Upper Monkey Hill, they used to bring them down on a stretcher. No cars could go into Upper Monkey Hill. That was just rectified. The road was just fixed the other day. Yes. And then I think we have to start going back to pounding stones, to build houses. Yes, we used to pound stone. You go and look for the stones and you get a heap and you sit down there with a hammer and you pound. And then when you want stones to do cast the concrete or whatever, they come and they buy the stones and you get your money. But everything now we're ordering. And when it comes to bread shop, how many bread we had up here? How many bakers? Upper Monkey Hill we had Miss Richards. Lower Monkey Hill we had Miss Jordan used to bake bread. I know Miss Ann used to bake bread. Eileen Frederick grandmother. And my grandmother used to bake bread, but my grandmother used to bake bread to take to the cane cutters. Miss Adams, she used to do her own thing to take to the cane cutters. Not like now we're going around with running cars and so, selling people. That used to happen in those days, but they used to take it on the head. So that's how my brother started with my grandmother. My grandmother used to cook for the cane cutters. And Miss Richard was the only baker in Upper Monkey Hill. And that is where everybody used to go with a card when they go to the shop to buy a quarter pound of saltfish in those days because saltfish was everybody relished then, but now, it's nearly $20 a pound. Everyday thing. And let's go back to the school. The St. Peter's School that was built under labor in the late 70s because at the church hall down there, it became too small. Even they had an old study where they extend the school. But it had to be broken down because afterwards it got old and moldy and all that. What by the mango tree? Miss Maxine was living there for a while. Elroy, you know your history too, right? Yep, I know that. Any more questions? Anything y'all need to know? With Miss Annie. Miss Annie? Oh, Miss Annie David. With the cassava bread. Well, Monkey, the people would know that. But she just used to sell it in Monkey Hill. Miss Adams used to do cassava bread too. And the last two persons to make what you call them, fishing nets. What the last two persons to make fishing net? Miss Westcott at Stapleton and Miss Adams. Lacey grandmother. I don't know who used to get these fishing net make, but Miss Westcott was good at it. Whether she's driving in the bus or wherever she busy doing she netting. Yeah, you remember that way, Edward? Good. Who did that? Up Stapleton? Oh, I didn't know about that. Maybe that for Stapleton people. Oh, you can't get from the other shop. You go buy Miss Westcott. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. And the last thing I want to speak about